Hello students, how are you? Okay, fine, good. So I hope you all have seen the first part of the chapter, okay, and I think now it's very clear to you. So now I am here with the second part of the chapter, heat. So again here I have written some contents of the chapter again. This is the content of the second part of the chapter. So laboratory thermometer, we'll study about laboratory thermometer. We'll study about, we'll see the activities that is based on laboratory thermometer, like how we can use this laboratory thermometer. Next we'll study about the transfer of heat, that is how the heat is transferred from one object to another object. Okay, and again we will study some activities on the basis of this topic, that is transfer of heat. Okay, so before starting in detail about this laboratory thermometer, first of all we should have a quick recap what we have done in the first part of the video. Okay, so in first part we have studied about, if you remember, we have studied about clinical thermometer. Clinical thermometer, again I am telling you what was its use. It is used to check the temperature of a human body, and its range is 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius. Like beyond this range, below 35 and above 42, clinical thermometer cannot measure those temperature. Okay, its range is only 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius, and it is used specifically for the human body. Okay, and normal body temperature is how much? It is 37 degrees Celsius. Now we are going to study about other thermometer, that is laboratory thermometer. Okay, like, okay, it's okay. If we want to check human body, then we can use clinical thermometer. But if we want to check the temperature of a hot milk, or say anything that is boiling, like in lab we are doing so many experiments, है ना? In experiments we are boiling it, we are measuring the temperature. Okay, so how we can measure those temperature? So for that we cannot use clinical thermometer. Why? Because if you are using the clinical thermometer just to check the temperature of a boiled water, you will observe that it will blast. Okay, because its range is only till 42. After 42 it cannot check the temperature, and the temperature of boiling water is 100 degrees Celsius, so hence we cannot use it. So for those purposes we are using laboratory thermometer. Okay, and like clinical has a range of 35 to 42, laboratory thermometer is having a range of minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Like it can check like minus 10 degrees Celsius also it can check. Minus 10 you can understand that it's very, 0 is the freezing point, 0 degrees Celsius is the freezing point of water. Like at 0 degree the water can be converted into ice. So beyond that, means below that also it can check the temperature. So its range is minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. That's such a wide range. Okay. One thing is clear. So for different type of purposes we are using different type of thermometer. Okay. For measuring human body we are using clinical thermometer. In labs for checking the temperature of a very hot tank, very hot water, we are using laboratory thermometer. And in chapter weather climate adaptation you have studied that for checking, like for preparing weather reports, the maximum and minimum temperature are measured by using maximum minimum thermometer. So for different purposes we are using different type of temperature. Okay, so now we are going to do an activity, and this activity will tell you that how we can use laboratory thermometer, like how we can use this thermometer to check the temperature of a hot water. So you can see this activity is very clearly written over here, that we can take some water in any beaker or in any mug. Then what we can do it, we can dip the thermometer in water, and in such a way we have to dip such that its bulb will not touch the sides also and bottom of the container. Why? Because we have to check the temperature of the water. We don't have to check the temperature of the glass. So we should see it carefully, that you can hang it by using a thread. That temperature, that thermometer should be immersed in water, and it should not touch the bottom as well as the side of the container, and we should hold it vertically, okay, straight we should hold it. Then what we have to do it, we have to see the movement of the mercury, okay, and we have to wait till that mercury thread becomes steady, and after that we can take the reading of the water. Okay, understood? Now again, other side certain here, take again some hot water in a beaker, then again we have to dip the thermometer, and again we have to wait till the mercury thread becomes steady. We note the temperature, and then we note the temperature. In this way we can check the temperature of any hot water. Okay, also one thing is very important, that we can check the temperature using laboratory thermometer only when the bulb is immersed in water. During that time only we can check. Don't take our thermometer and then take the reading as we are doing in clinical thermometer. Okay, so we can check the temperature only when the thermometer is immersed in water. Why is it so? That if you will take the thermometer out, then what you will see, that very quickly the level of the mercury thread, what happens, the level becomes mercury begins to fall very rapidly. Okay, so hence we cannot take the temperature once we are taking out of the container or beaker, we can say. Okay, because what happened, if we will take out the thermometer, very quickly level of mercury will fall down and we cannot take the temperature. So this is how we have to use the laboratory thermometer. Okay, so now I want to just explain you in short, okay, the main points. What is the difference between clinical thermometer and and laboratory thermometer? Clinical thermometer has a temperature range of how much, 35 degrees Celsius to 42 degrees Celsius, and laboratory thermometer has a range of -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. Also clinical thermometer, you know one thing, clinical thermometer, how we are checking it, we are taking out of our tongue and then we are seeing the temperature. Why? And the level of mercury will not fall down also. Why? Because clinical thermometer has a kink in it, K-I-N-K, kink. What happened? This kink, what does it do? It stops the level of mercury to fall down. Okay, so this is the difference. Clinical thermometer has a kink, but laboratory thermometer does not have a kink, due to which what happened, as soon as we will take out it, the temperature will fall down rapidly, mercury level will fall down rapidly. Okay, that is why laboratory thermometer we cannot use to measure our own body temperature. Also one thing is very important, that in thermometers we are having mercury. Okay, and mercury is a very toxic substance. If inhaled, it will lead to fatal consequences. Okay, person can die, and also it's very difficult to dispose of if thermometer breaks, and it is not easily disposed of. So that is why in our homes nowadays we are using digital thermometers, and it does not have mercury. Okay, now next is we are going to study about transfer of heat, how the heat is transferred from one object to another object. For example, I want to give you one very simple example, like at home your mother is cooking food. Okay, so what happened, when your mother is keeping pan on the gas stove, what happened, the pan gets heated. How does it get heated? Because the heat is transferred from flame to the pan. Okay, so that is why it gets heated. Now again what happened, if you will switch off the gas stove, you will keep the fan out of the burner. Okay, you will take the pan and keep it down, then what happened, it will become cold. Why? Because again the heat is transferred from pan to the surrounding. Okay, this is how the transfer of heat takes place. And heat, one thing is very, very important. You can see in PPT, it's very clearly shown in italics in red letters that heat is always transferred from hotter object to colder object. Hotter object to colder object. Also, there are three modes of transfer of heat. It's not written here, but I am telling you. There are three modes of transfer of heat. One by one we will study in detail. First one is conduction, second is convection, and last one is radiation. These are the three modes of transfer of heat. Conduction takes place only in solids. Convection takes place both in liquid as well as in gas. Okay, and radiation does not require any medium. Okay, directly the heat is transferred without any medium. So this activity is to show the process of conduction. Conduction means in how the transfer of heat takes place from hotter object to colder one in case of solids. In case of solids. So if you see a diagram over here, you can see here this activity is very, very simple. You can do it at your home also. Very simple activity. This is any metal pipe. For example, this is a aluminium or a iron piece of metal. Okay, we are using metal because it is a conductor and transfer of heat can take place through conductors. And here what we have done, we have first of all we have fixed this metal this rod of metal in between the bricks. You can see here to keep it steady, to keep it firm. Okay, and then wax we have attached to this metal, and one side what we have done, we have placed a candle. Okay, and after some time you will see that one by one, first the wax which was nearest to the candle, first this wax will melt, then this wax will melt, then this wax will melt. Okay, so this activity shows that how the conduction takes place in solids, how the transfer of heat takes place in solids. Okay, first the wax which is nearest to the flame, first it melts. Okay, so this is the activity to show the process of conduction. Okay, now another example I want to give you to show the difference between conductors and insulators. Okay, this activity is very simple. You just do one thing, you take a mug, you take anything, okay, and what you or you heat some water in a pan or any beaker. That means you are having a hot water, and then you collect so many articles, like you collect spoon, you collect scale, you collect pencil, you collect compass, anything you collect, and what you do, you dip all the articles in hot water. Then wait for some time, and after some time you touch the other end of the article. What you will observe, some objects like spoon, compass, all these things becomes hot. Okay, because they are conductors. And some objects like pencil, scale, they are like that only. Okay, that means no change. Okay, that means they are known as what? Insulators. Okay, so these two definitions also keep it in mind. One definition is given in green green color, and one definition in blue color. We can see here the materials which allow heat to pass through them easily are called conductors. For example, metal, compass, all these are conductors, and the materials which do not allow heat to pass through them, they are known as what? Insulators. For example, scale, pencil, all these are wood, all these are what? Insulators. This is the difference between conductors and insulators. The water and air, all these are the poor conductors of heat. Okay, now conduction we have done. Conduction means in solids the heat is transferred from hotter object to colder object. Okay, now we will study about convection. Convection is the mode of transfer of heat in liquid also as well as in gases also. So first we will study about liquids, how the heat is transferred in case of liquids. So this is an activity you can see here. we will take a round bottom flask. The figure you can see in your book if it's there, or just listen. This activity is very simple. You take a round bottom flask, you fill it with water, place it on a stand, okay, heat it, and after some time what will happen, and then what you do, you place a crystal of potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate color is purple, so you keep that crystal also in water and you heat it, okay. And then after some time what will happen, you will observe that when water is heated, the part of water which was near the flame, candle flame, just water just above the candle flame, it gets heated up first. And then what happened, after getting heated, what happened, it rises up, and that you can see it with the crystals of potassium permanganate, that blue color, purple color, it goes in upward direction. And then afterwards what happened, from the side again water comes and take that position, again that water also get heated up and it rises up. Again water from side comes down, again gets heated up, again it goes up. So in this way what happened, the whole water that is present in the flask, it gets heated up, and this process is known as convection. This process is known as convection. Very easy. Water in a round bottom flask, put a potassium permanganate, heat it by using candle flame. The water that is just above the candle flame, it gets heated, it rises up. Water from the side, again it comes down, again it gets heated up, again it goes up. Then again water from the side comes down, again it gets heated up, again it goes up. Like this the whole of the water gets heated up. This is how the transfer of heat takes place in convection. Okay. Now next is how the convection takes place in gases. Very simple activity. You can do it. You just keep a candle, okay, and your one hand should be kept just above the candle flame, and one hand you keep side at the candle flame. What you will observe, the hand which you are keeping it just above the candle flame, it becomes hot, and the hand which was at the side, what happened, you will not feel hot, that much hot. Why? Because the air that was just above the candle flame, it gets heated and rises up. Then again from the side air comes and takes its position, again it gets heated up, it gets rises up. So what happened, our hand that was kept above the candle flame, that was feeling very hot, but side, that no effect of that. Okay. Now I want to summarize what we have done in this video. Okay, so in this video what we have done, we have studied about laboratory thermometer, which we are using to measure the temperature that is very high. For example, in lab we are using it. Its range is -10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. It can measure the temperature range of this much. Second, how to use it? It's very simple. We have to put the thermometer vertically in the beaker, in the water whose temperature we have to check in such a way that the bulb should not touch the glass or the side, and then there itself we have to check the temperature. We don't have to take out and check. Why? Because the mercury level will fall down and we cannot take the temperature. Next, what we have done, we have studied the mode of transfer of heat. Two things we have studied in this video. One was conduction and second one was convection. Conduction, how the heat is transferred in solids. Convection, how the heat is transferred in liquid as well as in gases. Solids, very easy activity was there. Any rod of metal, wax you have to attach, you have to fix the rod in between the bricks, you have to place the candle at one end, and then you will observe the wax which was very near to the candle flame, it starts melting. Then next like that. That means the heat is transferred from hotter object to the colder one. This is how the conduction takes place. Next is convection. That means how the heat is transferred in liquid as well as in gases. Very simple activity. Convection we have done. Bottom flask, we have to keep it water. Potassium permanganate crystal, which is purple, which gives purple color, and then we have to heat it. You will observe that the water which was just above the candle flame, it gets heated, it moves up. Then from the side water comes, again it gets heated, it moves up. Then side water comes, again it gets heated, it moves up. And then whole of the water in the flask gets heated up. This is how the heat is transferred in water. This is how the water gets heated up. Okay. Next is how the convection takes place in gases. Again, it's very simple, children. In gases, you have to take a candle. One hand you have to just above the candle, one hand at the side. The hand which was just above the candle flame, it gets heated, because the air which was just above the candle flame, it gets hot, it rises up. But side, you will not feel that much hot. This is how the convection takes place. Okay, so next part of the chapter, we will do it in the third video. Okay, so please see this video, understand it properly. Okay, thank you, children.